Marcus Aurelius had a man whose entire job was to follow him and whisper in his ear, "You are mortal. You are not a god. Not a friend. Not an advisor. An irritant. A reminder." And that irritant kept one of the most powerful men in history grounded for 20 years. By the end of this video you will know exactly why the people who challenge you, oppose you, and even despise you are giving you something your closest friends never will, and how to extract that intelligence to become sharper, harder to manipulate, and genuinely impossible to shake. Your friends edit themselves. Your enemies don't. Think about the last time a close friend gave you real feedback. Not "that's great, man" feedback. Actually uncomfortable, specific, "you need to hear this" feedback. Now think about the last time an enemy, a rival, or someone who wanted to see you fail said something about you that stung because it was true. Machiavelli wrote about this in The Prince. He said the problem with flatterers isn't that they lie to you. It's that they make you comfortable with your own illusions. Your enemies have no incentive to protect your feelings. Zero. That's the exact thing that makes them useful. Psychologists call this the courtesy bias, the tendency for people who care about you to soften information so much it loses its edge. Your enemy has no social contract with you. No relationship to protect. So when they criticize you, they go straight to the wound. That wound is almost always real. The next time someone who dislikes you says something harsh about how you operate, don't dismiss it. Write it down. Sit with it. There's intelligence in it that your friends are too polite to give you. Your enemies reveal your blind spots through the mechanism of projection and reaction. Carl Jung spent decades studying what he called the shadow, the parts of yourself you refuse to see. He noticed something specific: the people who trigger you most violently are usually reflecting back something you have suppressed in yourself. A man who erupts at displays of weakness in others is often terrified of his own vulnerability. A man who resents people who set boundaries has usually never learned to protect his own. The person you call your enemy? They are often holding up a mirror you didn't ask for. Nietzsche put it differently. He said that what you cannot stand in another man is a magnified version of what you cannot stand in yourself. This is not comfortable philosophy. It's a diagnostic tool. When someone genuinely gets under your skin, not just annoys you, but destabilizes you, the question to ask is not, "What's wrong with them?" The question is, "What are they activating in me that I haven't dealt with yet?" Your enemies are doing shadow work on you whether you invited it or not. The ones who benefit are the ones who pay attention. Opposition tests what your friends assume is already solid. Seneca wrote to Lucilius, "It is not that I am brave, it is that I have not yet been tested." Your friends believe in you. That belief is warm and it costs them nothing because they haven't seen your weak points under pressure. An enemy, or a competitor, or someone who actively wants you to fail, will go directly at those weak points. Not out of strategy necessarily. Just because humans naturally probe for what's soft. The Roman soldiers in training didn't sharpen their swords against cushions. They sharpened them against resistance. Epictetus, who was a literal slave, understood this better than almost anyone. He said, "You don't find out what a man is made of when life is easy. You find out when someone is pushing back hard." Every assumption you have about yourself that has never been challenged is just a theory. It hasn't been verified. Your enemies run experiments on those theories constantly. Every time you survive their opposition, every time you adapt, every time you don't collapse, you convert a theory into a proven fact about yourself. That's not something your supporters can give you. They already believe you. Your rivals are the stress test. Enemies show you where your reputation diverges from your self-image. Abraham Lincoln kept his enemies close, not as a strategic cliché but as a genuine information-gathering practice. He made rivals cabinet members. He read hostile press. Not to torture himself, but because he understood something most men don't: your reputation is not what you think of yourself. It's what the room believes when you leave it. And your enemies are often the most accurate reporters of that gap. If 5 people who want to see you fail all independently say the same thing about how you behave, that you're arrogant, or unreliable, or that you fold under pressure, the odds that they're all wrong simultaneously are very low. The odds that they're seeing something real are very high. Viktor Frankl, who survived Nazi concentration camps, wrote that the last human freedom is the ability to choose your response to any situation. Part of that response has to include honest self-assessment. An honest self-assessment is almost impossible in an echo chamber of people who love you. Your enemies pierce that chamber. They tell you what the market of human perception actually thinks, not what your inner circle has agreed to think. That information, processed without ego, is some of the most valuable data you will ever receive about yourself. The man who understands his enemies understands power, the man who only knows his friends understands comfort. Kierkegaard wrote that anxiety is the dizziness of freedom, meaning that growth always feels unstable. The men who stay comfortable their entire lives, surrounded only by agreement, never develop the psychological muscle that comes from navigating real opposition. Tolstoy's character Gerasim in The Death of Ivan Ilyich is the one person who doesn't pretend, not because he's cruel, but because he hasn't learned to perform comfort the way everyone else has. The people in your life who don't perform comfort for you, your rivals, your critics, your detractors, are accidentally giving you something Gerasim gave Ivan: contact with reality. Schopenhauer argued that the will, the drive at the core of human nature, only sharpens when it meets resistance. A life of easy agreement doesn't build will. It erodes it. The men you see in their 50s who are genuinely formidable, not just successful, but hard to rattle, hard to fool, hard to manipulate, almost universally have a history of real opposition. Not trauma for its own sake, but the metabolized experience of being challenged, misunderstood, underestimated, and opposed. And coming through it with their character intact. That's the forge. Your enemies are part of the forge. 3 things to take from this. First, your friends are giving you comfort, your enemies are giving you data. Learn to extract the data without letting it destroy you. Second, the people who trigger you most are showing you your own blind spots. Use that as a diagnostic, not a reason for war. Third, opposition is the only force that converts your self-image from theory into verified fact. The men who understand their enemies become sharper. The men who only surround themselves with agreement become soft. Camus said the only way to deal with an unfree world is to become so absolutely free that your very existence is an act of rebellion. Part of that freedom is refusing to need everyone to agree with you and being genuinely grateful for the people who don't. If this hits something real for you, subscribe. We drop one of these every Tuesday and Friday, no filler, no motivation poster philosophy. Just the ideas that actually hold up when life gets hard. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one.